Russ, let's talk about your personal experiences and memorable moments.
The 16 top players left the BDO as it was then.
What does the future hold? Friends, introducing the legendary Russ Bray, a global icon in the world of darts, known as the Voice for his unmistakable calls. Russ has been a key figure in the shaping the sport's excitement and spirit worldwide. With decades of experience, his deep knowledge and passion have made him one of the most respected referees in the game. Tonight, we dive into the journey, insights, and future of darts with none other than Russ Bray himself. Russ, you are a well-known figure in the darts world, especially with your iconic voice. Can you tell us a bit about how you started your career in darts and what inspired you to become a referee?
Well, I started darts back in 1975. I was asked to play in the team, and I got hooked. I played in the team. I wasn't very good. I'd never thrown a dart before, but we won a gold medal, and that gave me a little bit of inspiration to play the game. So I then started playing darts. I took it up seriously. I bought a set of darts, bought a dartboard, and practice. Because like most sports, if you don't practice, you don't do very good. And I always wanted to be very good at what I'd done. So I practiced, and I eventually joined the darts team. I then played county darts. Over the years, got better and better. Paired with people like Eric Bristow in the big tournaments. So I was pretty tidy dart, but I wasn't the best, nowhere near it. I was tidy. And then I played for my county, and our county setup is exactly the same as you would see on the screens on the telly. You have your dartboard on the stage, you have your two markers, and you have a referee calling. Well, the referee never turned up at a county game. So I turned and said, well, that's no problem. You know, I'll call a couple of games, help out, and then through my match afterwards. When I walked off stage after calling, one of the guys said, that sounded all right. And I really enjoyed it. It was so different to actually playing the game when you're calling it. And the guy never turned up at the next home game that we played, and I became the county caller. Then in 1994, they had a big split in darts between the BDO and the PDC. It was actually 92, but 94 was really kicked in. And the 16 top players left the BDO as it was then to form the WDC, as they were called then. And if you had any affiliation or anything to do with them, you actually got banned from playing darts anywhere. So I then couldn't play for my county, if I was to be involved with them. I couldn't play for my Super League team. I couldn't even play my local darts team on a Friday night, not on a Wednesday night. And the PDC at that given time asked me if I was interested in being a reserve referee with the PDC. They already had two iconic referees in Bruce Bentley and Fred Williams, and I said yes. So I actually got banned from playing any other darts than doing anything with the PDC. I went with the PDC, I called it Blackpool in 1996, and never looked back. The tournament director, Mr. Tommy Cox, looked at me and turned around and said, we're not having a reserve referee, we're having 3 referees. Welcome to the PDC. That's how I got into the calling after having played darts.
What do you think it is about darts that makes it so popular globally, particularly in UK and Europe?
Well, darts originally started in the UK, going back to the 13th century, believe it or not, medieval times, when the soldiers used to throw their spear tips at a target. And then that developed back in the 1800s. So darts was really a big thing in England, obviously part of Europe, where it actually started. And the beauty about the game itself is it's simple. You have a dartboard, you have a set of darts, and you can practice indoors on your own, play darts on your own. You don't need a team, you don't need a goal post. or set of stumps in cricket, or any other people. You can do it on your own. And that's what made it so popular. And the other thing is, it ended up going into pubs. So the guys and girls would go down to the pub, have a drink, have a game of darts, and then go home. And that's how it developed from there. So it got bigger and bigger and bigger. So every pub in the country, in the UK, in England for sure, ended up having a dartboard in their pub. So it's accessible, it's cheap, it's easy, and now, as I'm sure we'll explain a little bit later on, the rewards are vast. And that's what's made it so big, and that's what made it so popular. It's a working man's game. It's a game that anybody can play of any level, even disability, even blind darts. There's even blind darts. So it's a game that everybody can play, and that's what makes it so popular. The other thing is, it's one-on-one. You do have a winner. It's not a guess game. You don't get points for accuracy or anything like that. There is a winner at the end of it. And that's what makes it so popular, and that's what makes it so big.
Russ, as a figure who has seen the game evolve, how have you witnessed darts grow over the years, both in terms of popularity and professionalism?
Well, it's the popularity has always been there. It's a very, very popular game on the amateur level. Where you see that has changed is on the professional level. Equipment changes, so you get better darts, you've got better balanced darts at different weights. The dartboard is completely different now. Going back in the 70s, the dartboards had a thicker wire, staples in them to hold them in. So the actual treble was something like a bit smaller, and the double a bit smaller than it is now. So you've got the evolution of the dartboard, how that's got better and better in itself, the production, manufacturers, more dart companies, more different styles of darts, different weights, different sizes, different barrels, different shafts. So consequently, that's where that's made the professional side a lot better for those that can play. You've now got the PDC, which has taken professional darts to another level. This has taken darts from early doors where, yes, these guys could make a living and make a very good living. But now, darts is at the stage where it's life-changingly different, where you can play darts for 1 year and basically retire from anything that you wouldn't even throw a dart in. That's the big difference. It's got a lot more professional. And of course, you've got TV, you've got internet. So where you've got those being shown on the TV, it then goes worldwide, and then it makes it a bigger and better commodity all round.
Russ, you are actively engaged in introduce darts to the India and its potential in the market. With India rapidly embracing various sports, what do you think makes darts a great sport for Indians to adopt?
Similarly, I've just touched on it there, where the darts is such a cheap game. It's a cheap sport. You buy one set of darts, you buy a dartboard, you put it up at home. You don't need to do anything else. You buy your plates and stems, and they're easy to get hold of. It's a cheap sport. Now, the beauty about India bringing darts into India is the popularity. Is the population? Sorry, the population that you've got. 1.5 billion people, whatever it is. Now, TV, internet, people being able to see how these guys and girls on the TV react, how the sport has changed, how they're competing against each other. That will bring darts home to the Indian audience. They will then come and buy a set of darts, have a go. The IDC is taking darts, or will be taking darts to all four corners of India. And once everybody sees that, sees what is achievable, see how good the game is, see how exciting the game is. Again, you look on YouTube, you look at all the crowds and everyone dresses up. It's a phenomenal sport, and it hasn't hit India just yet. But watch this space, because with the IDC now involved in the PDC, trust me, India in the next few years will have a massive, massive wave of darts within the competition, within the fans, and everything else, and that will go on the TVs. You watch this space because that's the exciting thing that we've got going on.
Dear Russ, how accessible is darts as a sport for beginners, and what do you think could be the biggest barriers to its growth in India?
I've mentioned before, darts is a cheap sport. You don't need to buy a big football or football kit. You can have a set of darts, which you can buy at a very, very reasonable price. You can buy a dartboard at a very reasonable price. So now you've got your commodity, you've now got your basis. Yeah? Then it's up to you. It's up to you then to practice, to get better and better and better. The dart industry at the moment is massive. It is huge. When you look at sport throughout the world and you look at what darts can do, in India, you guys, like you two said, you've got a massive population. There will be a Phil Taylor out there. There will be a Luke Littler out there, a Luke Humphries, a Raymond Van Barlow, a Michael Van Gerwen. There will be someone here in Asia, in India, that will take that mantle. And once we've found that person, and we will, in not such a long time either, then you will see the industry of darts within India go through the roof. It will be massive. And putting India on the darts, as the IDC is doing at the moment, with the PDC, it's riding the crest of a wave. It will just drive forward and forward and get bigger and bigger.
Now we will discuss about insights into darts as a sport. Darts requires precision and focus. Could you share some insights on the skills required to be successful in darts, both for players and officials?
Yeah, absolutely. Like any sport, you have to have a discipline. You have to be disciplined in yourself. You have to be, one, you've got to have good eye-hand coordination. Two, you've got to be dedicated. That's the two aspects of a dart player. And lots of practice. No matter how good you are naturally, you still need to practice. So that would be the first criteria for a dart player. For an official, from my perspective, is you learn the dartboard, you learn the numbers, you learn the different ways that players can go out for a shot out. You learn what players go out for a shot out, what different ways they go, because there's many, many different ways. Some players will go for double top, some will go for double 16. So you learn that. You learn everything in that way. And that's the basis of it all. And like all sports, with darts, it's only you up there. So if it all goes wrong, that's down to you. And it's the beauty again of that is when the player is up there, he needs to be focused. He needs to be balanced. He needs to be concentrated and going for his target. He needs to know what a dartboard is all about. So that is one of the biggest fundamental bases of a dart player. An official being up there looking at all the different shots out. So that's it's very, very. People think you just stand up and throw a dart. I will turn around and say to anybody, take 3 darts, go up a dartboard and hit a set target. And it will take you a long time to do it because that's how dedicated you need to be. Like all sports.
Darts matches often have a unique and electric atmosphere. What role do you think the crowd plays in a player's performance, and how does it compare to the other sports?
The crowd is very important. If you've got 2 guys up there, you've got 2 people up there, 2 males, 2 females, whatever way around. You've got 2 players up there against each other, and there's nothing more exciting than one-on-one. And of course, the crowd then get involved because they've got their favourite player. The crowd might be all for favourite because they're in India. Might be an Indian guy or lady playing an Englishman, for argument's sake. So an Indian crowd are going to be all for the Indian player, and that all exciting. Then you get that buzz then. Or you have 2 players up there that are totally neutral. But the crowd are all dressed up. They're all got in fancy dress. They're partying. they're having good fun, they're singing, they're chanting, and that makes the atmosphere. And that's exactly what makes darts what it is. That's what gives it its excitement. Plus, you're one-on-one. And no matter what sport you look at, if you have one single person versus another single person, that, to me, is far more exciting than a team game. Because, you know, a team game, a player can hide for 90 minutes in football, not really be seen, not really do it. You can't do that in darts. If you don't perform, you're out, you're finished, you've gone, you're not in the tournament anymore. If you perform, you're there.
Russ, especially in India, the emphasis is often on more mainstream sports like cricket and badminton. What are some unique aspects of darts that make it exciting and worth watching?
I'll just explain that. It's the crowd, it's the atmosphere, it's one-on-one. You mentioned two sports. Well, certainly badminton's one-on-one. Badminton's an exciting sport, I think, because it's a singular person versus a singular person in the main. I know you can have pairs. Cricket, again, it's your national sport, if you know what I mean. It's very much embedded from very, very early doors in your nation's, you know, do you know what I mean? The beauty about the game of darts is again, that's something else. It's a cheap game. It's exciting to watch because you've got one-on-one. You've got a lot of aspects of it because, like you turn around and say, when you've got your shooting, your archery, and things like that, badminton, cricket's eye-hand coordination, and that's exactly what it is with darts. Where you throw your implement, you throw your dart, you know, at a set target, and when you see the skill factor of these guys, it's absolutely amazing. And then you go into the adding up of the numbers, the taking away of the numbers, the sequence of all the numbers, how they all go and how it works, what way you would go for that shot out, how you set this shot out. So you've got it educational as well. So you're putting darts also into schools where the kids are learning their maths and things like that. And that's the beauty of that particular game. And that's what makes it worth watching, it makes it interesting, and it's colourful and exciting.
Russ, let's talk about your personal experiences and memorable moments. You have been part of some incredible matches over the years. Could you share one or two of the most memorable moments in your career?
Absolutely. You can go back to 2002 at the World Match Play in Blackpool, where Phil Taylor played Chris Mason, and on the fifth leg of his match against him. Some of the most memorable games that I can tell you about that immediately hit my mind. 2002 World Match Play in Blackpool. Phil Taylor in the fifth leg hit a 9-darter, and it was the first live coverage on Sky Sports. He won £100,000 for hitting a 9-darter against Chris Mason. So that really sticks in my mind because I was the first referee to actually call a 9-darter for the PDC on TV. And since I'm still the only referee that's actually called 9-darters in 4, when I was a kid there was 5 continents, Europe, Asia, Africa, America and Australia. And I've actually called a 9-darter on TV in 4 of the 5 continents. And that's been in South Africa, so obviously I've covered Africa, I've covered Australia, Europe, so, and in Asia as well with a couple of them on the Asian tour. So that's certainly that 2002 match there. And the other one has to be probably the greatest final there's ever been between Phil Taylor and Raymond van Barneveld in 2007. The actual match went to the very last leg of the darts, not set, last leg of the darts. Sudden death leg. Whoever won it became the world champion. Barney won the bullseye, the setup, went off first. Phil followed him and went 180, and I thought, that's it, Taylor's got him now. Barney followed him with 180, which is fantastic darts. And that wobbled Phil. Barney went on and ended up becoming the 2007 world champion. That was also very, very much in my mind because it was the very last one that we done at the Circus Tavern, the very last World Championship at the Circus Tavern. and it was Barney's first one when he came over from the BD up, so it was very important.
Russ, what is the most challenging aspect of being a referee in high stakes darts match?
Concentration.
Have you had any close calls that required a difficult judgment?
Yeah, of course. Concentration is the biggest thing. You've got to stay there and concentrate. You've got 5,000, 10,000, we've had it 20,000 people in the audience all jumping about, screaming and hollering. You've got two fantastic dart players up on the stage there. You've got to keep your concentration, so you're trying to not make a mistake, which, I mean, you only go and look on YouTube, you see that I've made one or two over the 30 years, 28 years or so. But that's the main thing, is concentration and keeping your focus. You have very rarely, but you get the odd occasion where you step between the players and say, right, okay, lads, you calm it down or go away. Or if a player has thrown the dart wrong way, because you can only throw a dart in an overarm action. They might have thrown once and slung it underarm. So you've got to know the ruling on that. So there's an awful lot into darts. So if you're up on that stage, you've got to watch both your markers, make sure that what you call, they have written down and taken it away correctly. So there's an awful lot going on in the game. So that's what makes it, again, as a referee, you're not just there calling numbers. There's a lot of aspects of it.
With your distinct voice becoming such a recognizable part of darts, how do you feel about your impact on the sports culture and fan experience?
I've been in a lucky position, because when I first started, like I mentioned earlier on, they already had two iconic referees, Russ Bray and Freddie Williams. They had their own style. My voice was different. My voice was deeper. So I was always instantly recognisable. But what I done, with respect to them, Bruce and Freddie would wear a jacket and trousers, and you are. So I would wear a suit, something different. They then wore a suit, so I wore a jacket and trousers. So I was different. Then I wore a mandarin collar shirt. The dance referee's up on stage with no tie. But no one ever come on stage with no tie. Always had a tie. So I tried to make myself different. I was lucky my voice was different anyway. So that got me more recognisable than normal. So and it was just a matter of how that's built up over the years is what's got me where it's got me now.
Russ, please tell us, how can we inspire a new generation of Indian darts players? Darts can be a very strategic game. What advice would you give to young Indian players looking to develop their skills in darts?
I would turn in and say the first thing you need to do is, and there's a lot of them about now, is go to an academy. Go to a young academy, youth academy, where we've got the JDC, the Junior Darts Corporation, which is for the youngsters in the game. And I've been chatting to a few guys and girls here in India, and they run academies from kids as young as 6 up until 18, 19 years of age. So they go there every Sunday morning, they will have their games, have their fun things, learn the game. They will learn the game from there. And the most important thing that you can do at that age, enjoy it. Go there and enjoy it, because too many people they make it too much, there's too much tension in it. They've got to do this, they've got to do that. Go there, throw your darts, enjoy the game, enjoy what it is, have a lot of fun competing with your other players, with the older guys, with the younger guys. Just make it an awful lot of fun, and that is the biggest thing I will turn around and say to anybody starting the game, especially the kids. Don't make it a chore, make it fun. And if you do start getting good, then make it good practice. Don't just go out there throwing darts willy-nilly. Go out there with a purpose, which is the same with most sports. This is what you don't just go out there and throw a dart at a ball to 20s all the time. Go out there with a purpose. Go for doubles. Go for shots out, things like that. Enjoy. That's all I can say.
Russ, please tell us, How important is mental preparation in darts, and what techniques do professional players use to maintain focus?
I tell you what, it's a very, very good question, because that applies to most sports. Is your concentration. You don't have to concentrate on what you do. When you go up there, you concentrate on what you do, which comes from your practice. So you get up there. So mentally, you're going to be strong. If you lose the first game or lose the second game, don't fold. Try not to fold. If you're strong mentally, you'll come back, because you'll see that you're going to win the next leg or whatever. So you try and maintain that sort of mental focus on what you're doing. If you're playing well and if you're focused mentally, 9 times out of 10 you'll win, because you are strong in that way. And it's just a matter of just keeping that there. It's the same in all sports, If you're focused and you've got it right, it can only go good for you. Even if you lose, if you've played well and lost, you can say, fair enough, the guys beat me on the day. On another day, that would be your win. Yeah? And you go away with that mental attitude. Don't go in, I've lost, I'm not going to go. Yeah? And once you've got that in your head, good night.
Please tell us, who are some of the players that you think Indian fans should watch to understand the sport better? Any recommendations for inspirational matches?
Yeah, sure. I mean, when you look at it depends how you throw, because you've got slow throwers, you've got quick throwers. You've got people like Gary Anderson, who's got the most fantastic rhythm in the game. Steve Beaton has a beautiful rhythm in the game. Their throw is effortless. They don't look like they're trying to throw the ball hard. They throw nice and quick at a decent pace. They're the big people that I would look at. There's a guy called John Lowe, so you can go back. He won the very second World Championship back in 1979, so all it is. When you watch his throw, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's textbook. Raymond Van Barneveld has a textbook throw. It is absolutely lovely. That's the type of people that I would turn in and say, if you want to play the game, watch them, watch their technique, watch what they do. Everybody throws different, everybody holds a dart different, everybody uses a different dart setup. But the fundamental basis of it all is, as in, again, most sports, is balance. If you're balanced, the less moving parts, the straighter you're going to be able to throw a dart. If you've got everything moving, it's harder to maintain that. So, watch people like Gary Anderson, say, maybe Van Barneveld, Steve Beaton, these guys, they have the most beautiful throw.
In last part of our interview, we discuss about future of darts and its global appeal. Russ, with darts growing internationally, where do you see the future of the sport in the next 10 years?
Oh dear. We are riding the crest of the wave at the moment. And the beauty about the game and the beauty about the sport is it is now one of the most popular sports in the world. That's brought about by great management from the PDC, where they put the darts, TV coverage, internet coverage, and media, of course, and that's the most important thing for the game. If you've got media coverage, you've got TV coverage, radio, we're even on radio, the internet is on nearly every internet site that you can go to. That's promoting the game, that's pushing the game forward. People can watch these games, watch the superstars of the game, watch the guys that are not so good, and think, oh, I can beat him, I'll give it a go. And that's the type of thing that you're going to be seeing, and that's what pushes it. That's what pushes it worldwide. Media, massive.
Russ, are there any upcoming international darts events or leagues where we could see more Indian participation?
Certainly. The IDC are going to be looking at putting on a Premier League. So consequently, you would have your top Indian dart players playing each other weekly, monthly, whatever it'll be, however that's going to be set up. And that'll be seen every month or every week, however it's done. On the internet, it'll be seen on there, and eventually that will go to TV, no two ways about it. And then that gives everybody the opportunity to see what standard they're going to play at. Oh, I can probably get on there, and then they will practice and they will get there. But if that goes right across India, which it will do, then every person in India that's interested in the game, those that are not, that will see it and think, oh wow, I'll give that a go. That will promote the game and push the game forward. And to be honest with you, the IDC have already got that plan in mind, ready to push forward in the very near future. So, again, watch this space because dance in India will go massive.
How can technologies such as televised events or online platforms help in popularize darts in a new market like India?
Well, to be fair, India is not a new market. There is dart players in India, and you've got dart players in various states that you've got here. What we need to do is promote and push that further. TV, like we turned around and said, once you get TV coverage, internet is probably at the moment the greatest thing going, because that's everybody, in inverted commas, is accessible to the internet. They can put on the internet, press darts, and they can see it. They can see the game, whether it's on YouTube or whatever internet sites there are. So again, these guys and girls here in India can watch it, and that's where it's got to be pushed and promoted. You've got to go to these places and advertise it. You guys in the media, put it in your papers, put it on the radio, put it on the TV, put it on the internet. Once that starts getting promoted and pushed like that, then everyone's going to be aware of it, aware of the wonderful game of darts. Yeah? And that will get more interest, a lot more interest. And that's where the push will come from. And that's exactly what the idea is.
Lastly, please tell us, what does the future hold for young Indian players joining the games of darts, and what economic benefits can they gain from playing it in today's money-driven era?
I tell you what, the beauty about the game is there will be tournaments week in, week out. So that even if they're local tournaments under the IDC banner, there will be tournaments where players can win prize money. And when you start winning prize money, when you start getting bigger and better, and you start becoming a professional, which is more than capable of anybody within the game, certainly here in India, then you can start earning the big money, the big bucks as they call it. Your top players are on over £1 million a year. That's what they earn, £1 million. A guy's just won a tournament just a little while ago, £120,000 just for a weekend's work. So the monetary side of things within the game is huge. And if you're good, if you're dedicated, which Indian sportsmen and women are, they are very much that way orientated, then the world is their oyster. There's a lot of money to be made out there. And the game of darts, as simple as it is very, very rewarding. And if you put yourself out and give it a go, see how good you are, see what you can do. Come out and have a go. Yeah? And you may be very, very well surprised, because there is an awful lot of benefits of playing darts. Certainly for your pocket and your pocket. Plenty of bucks out there.
Friends, as we wrap up this insightful conversation with Russ Bray, we are reminded of his incredible journey and dedication that have helped elevate darts on the global stage. His passion, knowledge, and iconic voice have not only brought excitement to the fans worldwide, but have also inspired a new generation to take up the sport. Thank you, Russ, for sharing your journey and for your unwavering commitment to the world of darts. We look forward to seeing the game grow and shine, especially here in India, with your continued inspiration. Russ, thank you sincerely for taking the time to speak with Blitz India.